And we are back live in the mob this week. After a brief hiatus of 2 weeks, we are live here in the mob. We have Joey, Craig, and me, Daniel. Thanks for everybody for joining us this week and watching. This week, on our brief hiatus, we've been away for a little bit to where we couldn't do stuff, and Craig had business. I had baseball. Unfortunately, the kids didn't win the tournament this year. But that goes. It is what it is. Your kids get in sports and didn't win the tournaments at all.
Yep, many times.
Okay.
That's part of it.
It's part of it. It's life. It's how it goes. So
That's character building.
Yeah, character building. So this week, since we didn't get to talk about, we didn't have a show last week, past couple of weeks, Joey's going to kind of give us a little bit about back to the 50s. Sounds like it was a pretty good, fun time. A lot of different cars that you never normally see. Is it new stuff that, since we've had a year from when car shows didn't really happen, was there a lot of cars that you didn't normally see, or was there new stuff, old stuff?
It's kind of always the same a little bit, but there's such a wide variety of cars. Unlike the Tri-5 Nationals, which is just Tri-5s, or you've got a Mustang show, you've got an Oldsmobile. This is everything from 1964 and older, and so
Right.
it was
Right.
kind of the same cars again. You do see every once in a while you see a new car that's come out, or somebody's got their car finally done. But it's a good time because you walk around, you get to see a lot of stuff that you can cringe at, and you get to see a lot of stuff that that really intrigues you and takes your eye and lets you focus in on it. So it's just one of those things. There was almost 11,000 cars, which is about 2,000 less than normal. I would say the biggest thing is, and there still are some COVID weary people out there, or whatever you want to call it. I know there's on the internet there's some talk about people not wanting to come into the Twin Cities yet with the protests or this or that and the crime, but we didn't hear of any problems. We didn't see any problems, except John Powell did have a tranny hooker walk up to his car when we were leaving down the road. So that was pretty good.
Wait a minute. Are we talking about an automatic transmission in his car, or are we talking like he had a tranny hooker come up to him?
Now, this was a dude in a dress, and it was we're going down what's called Snelling Avenue, and it runs through a little rougher area of town, and it was dancing on the side of the road. So I did what I had to do. I opened up the cutouts to get it loud enough that everything wanted to stay away. So she targeted right on John Powell's car behind me, and I don't know if his window was up or not, but she came out asking for something, so it was kind of funny. But
yeah,
I think the rumor was that it had 3 pedals in her car. So
you got some echo? Okay.
yeah.
I will talk softer.
Yeah.
I'm going to do softer. I'm going to turn my volume off on my computer too. How's that?
Yeah. Oh, you had your volume on your computer?
Yeah, I probably did.
Okay.
Is that better?
We're just getting a lot of garage echo. So.
Okay. If there's more, I can turn off the air conditioning too. I won't die.
No. Air conditioning should be fine.
So, but
hey Joey. Joey, I'm not. Hey Joey, I'm not getting any audio from your microphone there. I don't know why.
How about now?
Looks better now. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, I was just saying that I heard the rumor was that the person that approached his car, was a stick shift driver, had 3 pedals.
Ooh. What was it a stick shift?
it was pretty funny because John was not in the mood for anything because it was a 95-degree day. We're trying to get out of there and it's stop and go. So everybody was running a little bit warm. John was running pretty hot. And so we just need to get to the highway. But
was it before or after the training?
Yeah, was it before?
He said
or
he was
after
running
the
hot,
training?
so I just want to know if it was before or after the interaction.
I I think that's when it peaked. I think it was up there. I think there was a slight peak. If there was so, but no,
Sorry, John.
No, we love
we had
John.
a good time, I'll tell you. Yep. I'll tell you what. This is, everybody came. I'll tell you, everybody first of all who came. We had Eric Feckler and his wife, John Pell and his wife, Don Allen and his wife Elizabeth, absolute sweetheart, and he's a nice guy, great guy. And then we had, of course, BDO and his girl Dana. My wife came out one day. My son came out one day. Brian Reese and Tracy were there. I did run into Jeff Dobbleman, who was on the mob page. He's a local guy. Saw him out there. And then, of course, we all know Jim Norn and Dan Stacy showed up the second day. So, ND Money, Daryl Ross.
How did the run-in with Jim go? I mean, was it okay? Cordial?
It was good. Yeah, good. No, it's cordial. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all car guys, and he showed up with his, with Daryl D Money Ross, who's turned his 57 into a gasser, and of course Dan Stacy bought Jim's old car. That worked out. They drove in together, and so it's just it's just being cordial, being nice. It is what it is. So it was a good day. One of the best parts of the second day, honestly, was there was a mini turbulence. So about 150 yards away from where we were, the pavement gets really hot in the parking lot, and people are parked there. And all of a sudden, a wind gust comes up, and you can see a micro tornado start up, and about two canopies just take off into the sky. So that's always something fun to see when there's classic cars that are going to get dinged for no reason. So, but like I said,
how did Eric Feckler? How did Eric Feckler break his car again?
Well, so
right foot.
We all know that it was his right foot, and his left foot came off really fast, and his right foot went down really hard. But he's got his motor turned up pretty dang good. He's got the new lifters and the new cam. Everything was working right, and he put on these big, nice tires, brand new, stinking, sticky wheels and tires, and it hooked. And so when you have 400 plus horsepower and torque, the stock 55 rear end did not like it. So, luckily, half a mile from my house. Yep, half a mile from my house. So we got the tow strap, and my mechanic shop is literally right across the road. So I just towed him right into the parking lot, and it sat there. So, but stuff happens.
Been there, done that.
I'm curious if Eric Feckler, if that saves them or not. So he says he was doing burnouts for Tatas. So I didn't know if that was to raise money or not. So those of you watching on YouTube, we're kind of just doing a little conversation about back to the 50s, about things that happened. And what we do is we're from a group called the Tri-5 Mob on Facebook. So these are kind of things that we're kind of reviewing and going over what's kind of happened in the Tri-5 Mob since the Back to the 50s show. So anybody
but that's
watching,
still go ahead.
Anybody watching on YouTube, hang with us. We're going to talk about ceramic headers here in a little bit too. So, Craig, carry on about Back to the 50s. Sorry, I didn't mean to plug an advertisement.
No problem. But we had a good time. Everybody came over. We had some barbecue at my place both nights. We did a little cruise the second night on the way home. Instead of coming directly right back to the house, we took about a 30-mile detour just to get out and run the legs of the cars a little bit, which was fun.
Right.
Yeah, I did get a complaint that I was driving a little fast at one point, but that's okay. It happens. But I want to tell you a story because obviously I haven't been able to share anything on the mob simply because I'm restricted. And one of the reasons I think I'm being restricted is just because they're going back and they're taking content from 2 and 3 years ago down off of the mob. And as a moderator or administrator, I get noticed of that. And I think that's why I'm being restricted. So I'm not in Facebook jail, but I'm restricted from starting a post. I can comment on anything. I can put a picture up under somebody else's post, but I cannot start a post. So I'm obviously, if I ever get out of restrictions, I'm going to put up a lot more of stuff. But I want to talk about the best part about day 2 for me personally was we were driving up Interstate 35, which is about a 70-mile-an-hour freeway, going on a little cruise. I slowed
Right.
up to
Now-
about
now
60,
is that-
65 because I was waiting for it.
You slowed down to 65 because that's all the faster a hardtop can go.
Oh, so here we go. No, because I was waiting for all the sedans behind me. So
Were you trying to
but-
catch all the sedans in front of you?
no, there was none. I was leader of the pack. So, but
He's
I
feeling
had
his
right
oats a
behind-
little bit because we had
Yep.
Joe Barry over here the last time that we were on. He
Yep.
he has a hard top and it's a fast hard top, so he was feeling a little just kind of let him let him have a
I'll
little
let
bit
him
of
go.
freedom. It's okay.
So
Yeah.
we're leaving and we're going up. We got to go up 35E. It's an interstate, and I slowed down a little bit because I was making sure everybody made the interchange from 694 to 35. It's a little tricky. So, anyways, I was leading. Brian Reese was
Right.
behind me, and then BDO Richard Owens behind him. So we're taking off and we're going, and this little old lady passes me, and her husband's driving. It was like a small van SUV, and she's got oxygen tubes coming out of her nose to a tank. She's got white hair, skinny, looked about 80 pounds, looked about 85, 90 years old. And she looks over, and as she's looking, she's just waving and giving me thumbs up. And I'm like, my wife and I wave back, and it was just cute as hell. So I back off a little bit. Then I thought, you know what, let's give
Yeah.
her a little bit. So I open up the cutouts, and I come up beside her and just rev the heck out of it and jump a little bit with the car. And this lady, she's looking at the window like this. Like I said, there's oxygen tubes coming out of her nose. Her little old husband's driving, and she starts giving me one of these. Ooh! She just starts pumping, and then the window comes down, and then she starts waving, and then Brian Reese came up behind me and got kind of the same reaction. So that was fun. And then I had to stay on the gas a little bit because as you come up to 35, we get on this other road, and then BDO, he can't be beat. So he had to come up behind me, then get up beside me. And I will tell him that I got him on this Little John, but that's only because I heard his tires rip loose because he didn't have the traction. So it was a little bit, but that boy's car moves out. So, but that was a fun day. That was the best part, was seeing the little
Good.
old lady. The second thing that I want the mob guys to realize, because as I tell everybody, I try to do an Instagram page of the mob. I post pictures, of course, of my car and 50s, and I just posted one of John Pals, and I've done, both of your guys' car. Joey sees it all the
Right.
time. So there's a guy, I didn't know who it was. His name was Mikey Schmidt, but I only know him as Schmidt Chevy 550.
Okay.
And so he messages me the first day at the back of the 50s. He says, "Hey, where are you parked?" So I told him where I'm parked, and I said, well, I'm parked over on Randall. Come on out. And he said, I walk on over, and he goes, I can't. I'm in a wheelchair. So now I don't know what to say, but I said, you know what? I'll walk to you, see what's going on. So he's at the Space Needle, and that's a part of the park, the State Fair Park, and it's a pretty good jaunt. And so Mark Levine, my son, and I, we make it over to him, and I don't know what he looks like because he's never posted a picture of himself because it's always about his car. And here's a 16-year-old kid in a wheelchair. And so I walk up, and there's a lot of people around him, so I don't know who it is at first. I go, okay, who's driving this beautiful car? And he raises his hand. He's like, it's me. I'm Mikey. And so I shake his hand. What's up, Mike? I said,
Really?
I'm Craig. And his mom leans in, and she goes, is this the guy that you like to follow so much? And he goes, yep. Because he follows everything on the mob, likes everything I post all the time, and he chats with me back and forth. And so we talk about his car. It's got a 305. He's got an automatic in it right now, with turbo 300 or turbo 350. Doesn't get any mileage, so he doesn't drive it very far. But he has a hand control on stuff to help him drive, and he's right now he's waiting for surgery because he was in. I asked him why he was in the wheelchair, and in 2013 he was in a bad car accident. He broke both of his femurs. He's severe brain trauma, broken ribs, multiple other things, and he was healing. But this spring he was walking up steps and tore the PCL behind your ACL in his knees.
Okay.
So now he's in a wheelchair right now. So I give him a mob pen. I give him a couple mob stickers and stuff for his car. And he starts digging in his pocket, and he goes, I got to pay you. I'm like, no, you don't, brother. I said, you made it to the 50s. You got your 55 here. That's what it's all about. and he was just nothing but smiles. His family was more than appreciative. We got a picture with it, which I will post in the mob when I can. And so then
Okay.
that day we were leaving, and the way you have to leave back to 50s is you basically have to go through the whole park to be able to get out, because they want you to kind of parade your car through. And so when I'm coming up by him, again, I'm loving it, but I open up the cutouts, and as soon as I do that, I start to rev, and they're a good 50 yards away, and I can see his whole family standing up and waving their arms and pumping their fists. And, you know, to make two people like that, the old lady and then Mikey, smile and have a good time, that's what this is all about, man. All about. But it was a good time. Good food, good people. The guys were great to cruise with and sit and have a couple drinks and eat some barbecue with. And I did use a special rub on my pork, and it turned out pretty good. I won't give out the recipe. I swore I wouldn't to the guy, but it's really, really good stuff.
Yeah. Is it pretty tasty?
It was very good. I tell you what, the best part about it is I forgot it on the smoker because I was busy getting car stuff done. So it actually went to about 2. I wrapped it at 160, went to 205, pulled it, and just threw it in the coolers for the night, and it was absolutely beautiful the next day. So couldn't go wrong.
Yeah. Good.
But beautiful
sounds
cars,
like a good weekend. Sounds like everybody had fun and enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, I would say the one picture y'all took a picture of all the cars together. That was really nice. But, you know, getting back to the stories, I mean, you know, it takes special people to do special things too, you know, and to have a heart and, you know, have compassion about other folks. And, you know, I see that a lot on our posts and stuff of just, you know, people trying to help another person. And, man, you just never know. You never know who's, you know, who you can make, you know, make their day, you know, by commenting or just acknowledging. So, I mean, hats off, man.
Yep.
Really hats off.
No, I appreciate that. And like I said, it was fun, and I think it can only get better and have more fun. And the best part is you got everything from a $1,500 car out there to a $150,000 car, and then nobody's any better than anybody else. You know, there's people coming in with the farm trucks that are just fresh off the farm, and they put a set of 20 with a straight 6, and then you got the real show winners that, you know, you got the show winners that are coming in there that don't even drive them. They're trailered there, and they're sitting there, and that's great too. So the one thing that is, like, the vendors were down because the show was canceled, and then it was brought back on. So there were the vendors like Kindigit Design wasn't there this year. The Nichols, they're on Motor Trend. Nichols Paint and Fab or whatever, they were there. But some of the big dogs just that normally are there weren't there. But it's understandable. The biggest difference I saw was the amount of people in the crowd. I would say was half of what it normally is, because normally they'll have an attendance of 40,000 people, and it just wasn't that crowded as normal, which is okay because you don't have as many ladies walking by your car with their purses and zippers and little kids with sticky fingers everywhere. So it's okay.
Yeah. Well, good. That's good to hear. Joey's not our celebrity this week, but I will say, Dan Stacy, here next week we are getting Chad Reynolds, and then give you a little heads up that we are looking at getting Scott Sullivan, July 19th, and then also we're looking towards August, the first part of August, the second part of August. I will tell you that we have somebody from Dennis Taylor Hot Rods. I'm not exactly for sure who exactly we got from Dennis Taylor Hot Rods, because they're still kind of working out the details of who we got from there. But it is somebody that you all will recognize from. It will be somebody from Dennis Taylor Hot Rods that you guys will all recognize, whether it's Dennis or somebody else in the shop. Everybody that follows Dennis Taylor Hot Rods, kind of knows who's all in his shop and who's all there. So kind of be on the watch for that. So, Craig, now that we kind of discussed,
can I have one more story?
One more story.
Nobody's heard this one yet. Okay, bear with
Okay.
me for 1 second. Hang on.
Okay, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. And this is getting scary. He's getting over into the toy box, making noises over there, Joey. I mean, we don't know what he's
Nah,
going to come
nah,
out
nah.
with.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jeopardy. Da da da
Okay.
da 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 da
Okay.
da da.
All right. So here's the story for everybody. And
Oh, boy.
I got to refresh my screen here.
Dan
So-
Stacy says the gold digger looks good, Joey.
Thanks. It's coming, man.
What up, Joe Miller? I see him on there too. So here,
Yep, I see Joe Miller there.
so we are on day one.
Yes,
We all
Terry,
get
yours
parked.
would fit in. Sorry, I
Oh,
had to
yes, it
respond to
would.
Terry.
Yep. So we're sitting there on day one. We get the cars parked. We get the canopies up. We get the mob banner going. We get all the chairs around. And that's your first chance to really get up and look at the guys' cars. And I've seen John's before. I've seen Eric's before. I've seen Brian's once before at Nationals, but it's been a while. So I want to look through his a little bit. And I go over because I've never really looked at Don Allen's car. Now, Don only lives 2.5 hours south of me, which I learned. So I'll probably be going down to a car show by him just for the heck of it one day. But so he opens his hood, and let me tell you, Don's 55 Pulse it's got a 355. It's beautiful inside and out. Body panels aligned, detailed out, and for a black paint job, it's right where it should be. Now, one thing I liked about it, which I might do, underneath the hood, you've got the hood brace underneath on the 55, and it's mine's
Right.
painted. He had his taken off, and he has a nice billet one that's got a lot of airflow. So I'm kind of thinking that might be something to look at, for some
Yeah.
more airflow under the hood. But so I'm
Well,
sitting there looking, and
I don't know if it's really going to give you that much more airflow as it's up, it's up high in the hood and all your air is coming through the grill. I mean, it may get some airflow, but I think it's probably, and I don't know. He may have told you it's more for airflow for him. But it's probably just kind of the billet machining, to where it looks, just looks pretty neat and looks pretty cool.
Well, as Eric said to me, it's really about grasping for straws. I mean, if I can get 4 degrees, 2 degrees, whatever, but it looked good.
Right.
So, but I'm in there looking, right? And we looked down, and I can't remember whose side it was. We're all kind of right there, and the master cylinder's right there, proportioning valve, and we pull out one of these. And we said, Don, are you working on your car today? He goes, no, I was before I left. His ratchet, his 1/4-inch drive ratchet, made it 250 miles sitting on his master cylinder. So that guy's he must have the best suspension
Best luck.
on the world, man.
Best luck
and
in the world.
And I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
I believe it was the same Craftsman as I got, but he had an extension on a picture, which I will post the mob, because it was hilarious. Because what kind of guy runs with a ratchet under his hood that doesn't even fall off? I mean, it's just sitting in there, So, I mean, you can't ever sell that ratchet. You can't ever use it again. You can't throw it away. It's got to go up like on a trophy at that point. 250 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
That would have
cool.
made some.
So,
That would have made some
Yep.
noise if it would have been dropping.
oh,
Yeah.
heck
Can
yeah,
you
that would've-
can you imagine that and be like, what's going on?
Yep. So that's my good stories for the day.
All right. So what are we kind of going on here? You were kind of talking about ceramic. You wanted to talk about ceramic headers. Somebody wanted to know about the ceramic coating and whatnot. Now, Joey, the
Okay.
headers on your car, are they a ceramic coated a header on
Not-
yours?
Not yet. They're just stainless. That's all
Just
they are.
stainless right now. So actually, stainless, you really don't need to get them coated necessarily per se. And some of us
Just
know
doing
the
it for heat.
benefits.
Just doing it for heat more or
Right.
less.
As some of us know the benefits of the heat, where it kind of helps control the heat and keep more of the heat inside of the tube. What are, other than good looks and controlling the heat, what are some of the benefits that you found with ceramic coated headers so far?
You're asking me?
As he takes a dramatic pause and drinks
Oh,
half
okay.
a water bottle.
I mean, my answer, I guess, everybody likes the look of them,
Right.
And really it's the heat and then just the look of it. The problem is, most of the headers, have tight bends and radiuses, and that's where you usually start to see, hot spots. you know,
Right.
in them, and they'll start to get a little faded there. I've done different kinds of coatings. I've done the Jet Hot, you know, and you know, back when I had a Pro Charger on the car, you know, they have like different levels of that, and they had some stuff, and it looked kind of like a pewter. It looked like it was called platinum. It really looked awesome. It looked like something off of NASA, but it didn't last either, and it was expensive. So, you know, I think a lot of that is just how much flame you got going out of the car too.
Could be too.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and it could, you know, if the car's running, you know, if it's leaned out, of course, that's, you know, that's why you never actually put a good set of headers on when you first start one up, because it's more than likely it's going to lean out and it'll discolor them anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, you're starting to run some power, you know, it's going to eventually do that. But I mean, hey, it's a maintenance item.
Right.
Well,
So Craig,
I know
what's,
David Bacon had that question.
Yeah, what's the information you got for us for David Bacon that had the question there?
Okay, well, I was actually going to talk about ceramic coating for the car, but David Bacon had. I talked to him because he has headers on his wagon, and he painted them white, and so and I guess if I remember, and David, you can type in here, but I think he used a VHT, you know, white paint, and they've turned brown right away. So I know Eric Feckler talked to him about doing a Teflon coating. I mentioned, like, I have ceramic and it's a silver and it hasn't discolored at all. And I've gotten hot, you know, it hasn't discolored at all. So I've told him, and he's talked to one guy, said, I think quote him $100 to ceramic coat him white. I said, that's the way to go. Everybody's got their opinions, of course. So, but you know, I think that's the best way to go.
Well, I will say that.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Jordan.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I did mine. Well, back in the day, you know, couldn't afford ceramic coating, but I preheated it. You know, I took the headers and then took like a rosebud, and then, you know, of course, cleaned them really well, and then preheated them, and then I sprayed the paint on, and it kind of baked it in and did that. Eventually, it still flakes off, but it did stay a little longer than normal. But you know, I just couldn't afford to do, you know, the ceramic coating stuff.
Right. Well, and that's why I think if he's got somebody that's going to do it for $100, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, and the ceramic coat that he may be looking at may be that Cerakote, which is a little bit different than, per se, the Jet Hot type stuff. The Cerakote stuff, some of their lines are, you know, they can handle the 1,000 or 1,200 degrees that, you know, Jet Hot is. The only thing is, Cerakote usually doesn't coat the inside, you know, inside of the tube. Sorry, let me do the inside of the tube. Any way I do that, it looks wrong. Craig, the big eyes. You know, Cerakote, it's a good product, you know, just like the Jet Hot and everything. So it just, you know, depends on what you're going to do with it and where you're going to go with it. So
Right.
If you can find, I will tell you, like I'm getting mine done. There's a place here that does frames, and they do so much. They'll do any color you want. But if you do the polished or the black, because they do a lot of the front ends, you know, like on these big diesel trucks, those front end bumpers and ranch hand type. I mean, they do tons and tons of that stuff. And the last time that I had my small block headers coated, man, it cost me $200. I mean, to do both of them inside and out, and that was the polished, because that and the black is the two most common colors. So,
right.
like I said, you can get other colors, but that was pretty cheap for them to actually clean the headers and then actually coat them inside and out, and they worked great.
Right.
So now that I kind of better understand, you were going to talk about the ceramic coating on, you know, that gets put on the car. What is a ceramic coating like? What goes into it to begin with? You know, do you have to buff the car first and then go over it with a clay bar and then do the ceramic coating?
Yep. So now keep in mind everything. I'm not the professional. Richard Owens came over and we spent probably 30 man hours on the outside of my car, getting it prepped and coating it. And so everything I'm going to regurgitate right now is what I learned from him, because this is what he does. And Richard does not need glasses. I mean, if he's 20/20, 40/40, whatever it is, he will see a scratch from a mile away. So he does paint correction, getting out the swirls, getting out blemishes from the paint job, everything. So I've obviously been on the road for a couple of years, and he still wet sanded my trunk because he wasn't happy with some small orange peel in a couple of spots. So he wet sanded it. But the biggest thing is, I'm going to grab it here. I don't have a disc on it at the moment, but this is what he likes to use. This is a Griot's Garage orbital buffer. It's 11 millimeter, which means the amount that it orbits is 11 millimeters. You can get a larger one, which is a 21, which they call the Big Throw, and you can actually go to Harbor Freight and get the Bauer brand, which works just as good for about $100. What's really nice from what he showed me, it's virtually almost impossible to correct paint with an orbital because you got to be an idiot to be able to do that. But he, of course,
what if you put sandpaper on it instead of a buffing pad?
That would classify you as an idiot, so then you can't use it. It says so right in the instructions. But I get what you're saying. So anyway, so what we did to prep, because obviously I've put F11 on the car, I've put butter wax from Chemical Guys, I've used different detailers. So we basically, the first thing we did is just wipe the car clean of dust and dirt. And all we did with that was water, just spray water. And I went through about 45 towels, microfiber towels I bought at Sam's Club, 36 pack for $12 or something. Anyway, so you get it all clean, and then he takes over.
For a minute there, had I not listened, I almost thought you said 36 grit.
Oh yeah, that'd be some gritty towels. So
yeah, I know.
At that point, he likes the Wizard product, and there's it's over on the shelf, but we use the buffing compound. Yep, he uses the buffing compound to do the correction that I need. And of course, my car wasn't as bad as some people's, or maybe worse than other people's, but it didn't need a lot of correction. But basically buffs the whole car, and then he uses a Wizard glazing compound, I believe what it's called. And that's his finishing. So, and as he sets up around the car, he has 4 LED light strips on the ground. So when you walk around, you can see every blemish, and it makes you almost sad, because he said, look at all of your wash marks, because you could see where I'd wash stuff, and I go, I've used microfibers, I've used the Best Mist, I've used this. It doesn't matter, right? So because your clear coat is soft. So after we've prepped the whole surface, then he uses a product, and I believe it all comes from, we use the Exoforma product, which I'll show you the box in a minute, but a product called Eraser. An eraser is going to get rid of any kind of deposits from waxes, chemicals, any kind of sealants, anything that you've put on the car. So then the whole car gets Eraser. So then we started, and this is the first time he had used this stuff. Now I'm going to hold up the box here, or hold up the package to the camera. Hopefully it'll focus. This is Exoforma.
Can't see it.
Well, I can hold it up here for you.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
Then the people so the people down here can't see it. Anyways, so this is graphene coating, and it's basically a 10H hardness, which is the hardest ceramic coating that's on the market right now. And you got to constantly shake it because it does separate. But believe it or not, you can see how much is left in the bottle. We did my whole car. I did some of the interior with what is in here. So if you guys can see that, and my computer's freezing up on the screen here. So, but this bottle, I want to say this was about $100. Just for this bottle was about $100. Okay, but it's a 10H hardness. Now, the last ceramic coating that I bought, which isn't even close, was a 6H hardness, which doesn't do anything. So, as you put this on, he puts it on with a little microfiber sponge, and we only do one panel at a time. So you do half of the hood, you do one fender, whatever it is, just part. And I kind of thought some of it is BS at first, because I didn't totally understand how tough this stuff was. So as he puts it on, there's about a 2-minute period, depending on your temperature and your humidity in the garage, to where it flashes. And if you look at it in the right angle, it kind of gets a rainbow effect into it, like you spill gas in water. And all of a sudden, as it starts to flash, BDO is like, wipe it now, let's go, wipe it. So, you grab your clean rag, and the first thing BDO taught me on everything is you always rip the tags off of your rags because that tag will
always,
scratch your car.
always.
So we buff everything clean, and it literally makes the paint look deeper right away.
Mm-hmm.
So we go around the whole car. We do all the stainless. We do all the chrome on the outside. Absolutely everything. The windshield, the back window, everything. And we get around to the car because we want to do 3 coats on the front of the hood, the front of the car, because in the top of the roof area for rock chips.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, I see it looks good. It's like a freshly waxed car, but I don't think anything of it because I'm like, God, you're barely. I mean, this little bit went on the whole car. This can't do nothing. Well, there was a spot on the hood that didn't get buffed, about the size of my hand. And the words that came out of Richard's mouth, oh my God. He starts arguing. He goes, you forgot to buff this. And I says, no problem. I got it. So I start trying to buff it, and it won't come off. Now, what it did, it gave like, so my paint job had like brush strokes from a house paint. That's what it looked like. And I'm like, oh my God. So he had to get the buffer out, get the compound, buff it back off the paint, all the way back down, eraser, chemical clean it again, and we had to recoat the whole hood. Now, It was a little minor inconvenience. So when you realize it, how tough that layer is, it's literally like putting a piece of tempered glass on the outside of your car for scratches. Because the way, from what I've been reading on the 10H hardness, that's like 10 times harder than your clear coat, right? So now the whole front end of my car has 3 coats. The top of the roof has 3 coats. The hood had 3 coats to help prevent against small chipping.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. And when it got out in the sun, some of you have seen the pictures. I haven't been able to post a lot on the mob, but excuse me, not COVID, promise. Everything just got deeper and darker. So then the next day, when I detailed my inside, I cleaned everything really good, and I ceramic coated my dash. And then what I was really wanting was my chrome garnish on the inside of the hardtop. You know, on the doors, there's the chrome for the armrests. I went over that because that always gets scratched from just people's watches, your fingernails, whatever. But the most important thing to do is it all comes down to the prep. You just can't walk up to a car and start putting it on. You got to strip it down to the bare paint, buff it, and correct all of your paint mistakes, because if it's not corrected, you'll see it'll highlight that, you know? So I do have a few spots in my car that aren't perfect from the body shop, and that's okay. It's, you know, it's my car. It is what it is. But he does such a miraculous job at finding every detail and getting everything out that it's incredible. So, but it all comes down even to the fact where he's using little buffing pads like this on a drill attachment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Getting around the headlight, the turning lamps, in on the valiant, and that lower valance and the tail pan, and that's what he's buffing with. So, excuse me, dry cough today. But once we got to that point, so then you ask yourself, okay, so it looks really good. What do you do when you get to the show? Do we put a wax on top of the ceramic? What do you mist it with? Well, for the last couple of years, I've been using Chemical Guys Quick Detailer, which is a nice product. It seems to, do its thing. But what I do now is, because I kind of think you should stay brand specific once you're into it. Mm-hmm. So now, which is, I'm using the Exoforma Ceramic Shield Quick Detailer. And with this, it's got a little bit of that SiO2 infused spray technology, but it kind of like reinvigorates what you've already done on the car. And it's absolutely fantastic. You can get a spray bottle. You can get the refill bottle, Joey size, Craig size, Joey size, Craig size. So that's the way I look at it.
Hey, but mine's functional. See, I got the squirter on there. You just have old cap.
Right. So, and I mean, when you spend $300-400 on ceramic stuff, you get a sticker. That's what it's about right there.
Well, that's worth some horsepower. Or is it worth some shine?
And this is all Richard. I mean, this is what he does. And I'm telling you, I've seen Richard polish a turd and make it into a Cadillac. I've seen the work that he does on old cars and brings them back to life. Last year, he did like a 92 Mustang that was paint faded and, scratched in parking lots. And it came out looking like it was fresh out of the showroom, if not better. So he knows what he's doing, and he's very particular. So if he tells me to lick my car, I'll lick the car. If he tells me to use this on the car, I'll use this on the car, because I'm going to do what he says. And so, but you cannot believe on a true ceramic coating when you start looking at the hours that he puts in, it's going to be it would have been $1,000 to $1,200 to do what he did if you brought it to a shop all day long, because he's got
So
30 man hours and $300 in product.
yeah, so my question is, because I got hit up from a guy that he has a car wash here, and he sold that, and he's got a detail shop, and he actually instant messaged me and says, "Man, I'd love to." He's on my Facebook, so he sees the cars painted. He's like, "Man, he does ceramic coatings." He goes, "I'd like to, ceramic coat your car, as a sponsored deal." And I'm like, I don't know, because I just don't know. I said, "It's freshly painted." He said, "Well, you got to wait 20 days." So I'm just kind of, I don't know.
On the paint?
Yeah.
Well, now, in my tell you my honest opinion, before you put a ceramic coating on, that, and it's got to be something that's breathable, because your paints, it'll seal in the solvents and whatnot. And I've got, just like Craig has a prop, I got a little prop here. I'll show you guys here.
Dan's got a little prop.
Hey, so this here, I'm showing everybody this little cup here, which, well, it's not a cup. This is clear coat. And here's sorry, I got to bring it over here. Here's the cup that it was in. I'm showing you guys over here, and I'm showing you guys here. And if you set it down inside, you can kind of see, I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer. You can see how much that clear coat has shrank. How much it shrank down. This right here used to be clear up here. So I'm showing you guys over here. This ledge here used to be clear up here. And this is set on our desk for, this has probably been near 10 years. But over the first year to 2 years, this kept shrinking and kept shrinking and kept shrinking. And they say solvents, you typically, it shrinks about 1/3. And they say you don't want to put any waxes on paint, or anything, a sealant, that's going to seal up the paint so the solvents can't come out. So in all honesty, you want to kind of give it enough time that the paint can breathe all the solvents out. And Craig, in your case, you had, how much of your car got painted after the wheel and tire incident? Or the brake incident?
My driver's door, my hood, and my trunk got redone, and also the driver's front fender had some touch-up work on, or passenger side fender had some work on it. So
okay,
a good portion, but
so a good portion. So your front fender, both fenders, your hood, and your door, at least your driver's door, all have another paint job on them, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay. So in that case, you've got double the materials on there. And being a show car, the thing that I will have to say is now you've got more solvents on there, so you might you might be better off letting it wait for a little while. But I'm trusting Richard to know what he's doing on his end, because that's what he does.
Yep.
Me personally, I kind of want to see a car sit for at least a year. And in the case of having multiple paint jobs on it, it's still breathing, because your first paint job was only a year old.
Yep.
Okay.
No.
And that's
the paint was touched up in the fall, in December and January of 1920. So roughly, almost a year and a half ago.
Okay. Well, you should be fairly okay at this point then. I'm just kind of speaking, from where I'm at. Craig, Daniel Martin wants to know, once you do a ceramic coating, do you have to stick with it, or can you apply a wax over it later? To be honest, Daniel, what I'm going to say, and this is kind of just from what I'm kind of understanding about the ceramics, and Craig, I'll let you kind of answer that here in just a minute. The ceramic coating, for the most part, from everything I understand, you should not need a wax over top of it. Once you put the ceramic coating on, it's pretty much, a one and done. It's on there, and the ceramic coating lasts for at least, a couple of years before you have to wax.
This product, they're saying 5 years.
5 years. So you don't have to apply any wax over it. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. Now, the other question that I would wonder is, how is it as far as repelling, like, dust? Like, I'm in the body shop, so my car gets covered in the body shop dust. That's why I haven't really rebuffed my car any. It sits in the back of the body shop. I haven't buffed it in any time. Can you, after, because I know you had him do this once before on the car, right? As far as dust,
No,
like on the
this
car
is
and
the
whatnot.
first time. This is the first time.
First time
This is
he's
the
done
first
it.
time for ceramic coating. Yeah.
The thing that I would be curious about is, over time, will the dust adhere to it? Mine, you'll feel it more prevalently than you will your guys's. But I'm curious, how well it is at repelling, like dust and stuff, from
Well,
sticking to it, because the
I know
humidity.
Richard. Richard has done his daily driver. He drives a G8, and it'll get absolutely filthy. In a quick car wash, it just runs right off. It's
Okay.
unbelievable. And I know that if I could take the computer and the phone and show you, like, I went out for a cruise on Friday night with my wife, and the whole windshield is full of bugs. I haven't cleaned it yet. But
Right.
literally, if I just spray the detailer on there, let her sit 3 minutes, it comes right off. And the first thing I try is a bottle of water, and the bottle of water still just, it runs right off.
Just
I made
beads
some
right
videos
off.
of that I want to put. Yep. So I mean, right now with the ceramic coating, it's so smooth that I hit a dragonfly with the fender, and it didn't kill the dragonfly, but as it flew by, it just yelled "fuck you" at me. Slick.
how,
So
how good is the ceramic at repelling trannies? Because obviously you drove by, you know.
I slid right by him. I was super looped right by him.
This is going places
But
that I
but see,
just don't even know.
I'm still stuck on the fact that your little prop has shrinkage.
Well, hey, it's solvent based, so.
Absolutely. So, but no,
So
I
kind of basically it reminds you of if you were playing, sports and you needed a cup and the cup didn't fit, it was too
Right.
big.
um,
uh,
but
Neat.
I would do my advice to you, Joe, is obviously it'd be research what product your guy wants to use on your car, but I would tell you to go through this full first season with just some detail spray, letting it shrink like Dan says, because everything that when I talked to Dan before, I've talked to Brian Machad and a couple other body paint guys that said you've got to let that thing breathe. It's got to gas out for at least before the waxing. Like, I wanted to wax it that first year, and my paint was almost a year old before I waxed it the first time, and so you want to wait that. So next spring, if the guy's like, if the deal still works next spring, that's when you want him to do another good cut and buff on the car. Look for any kind of detailing that needs to be done, and then apply the ceramic coating.
if you're gonna have him do it, I would probably, if he wants to use your car kind of as advertising and whatnot, say, hey, we'll do it for advertising, for this first year and whatnot. You don't have him put it on for the first year, but just tell him, hey, as far as advertising purposes, I'm fine with you using the car for advertising, so people know about it and see, a neat car. And then, once you're, ready and the pain is cured out and everything, then say, okay, yeah, go ahead and do it. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. But getting back to, I think Daniel Martin's question about waxing it, and then I saw Joe Miller kind of said it too. You can put wax on it, but it's not needed.
right,
What
it kind
the
of
companies are
degrades it.
recommending, yep, and what the company's really recommending is just to shine and protect their ceramic, shield, as you want to call it, to clean it. And I don't see a reason that you'd want to use the wax. I mean, it's
Right,
just not needed.
Hmm.
right.
I will tell you,
it-
after sitting for a week, I did have a little bit of dust because I am a woodworker, so a little bit of dust gets in the air. Before I went on
It
Friday,
rips on
I just
some
came in
wood.
with the air hose, and I just blew the car off, and it was basically clean. So I have no
Nice,
problems.
nice. Uh-oh.
Money well spent.
Well, that's good then to hear that works, works that well and works that easily. So,
Yep.
So Joey, how's everything coming on yours? I see that you installed an air brake on the back of it. Anything else kind of come along other than putting trim on it and putting lights in?
Uh, I got the air brake installed, waiting on the bumper to get re-chromed. So I made a little bracket, and before I had a kill switch, you had to reach under the car to get to it. So actually, I have another hole in the bumper, and I did a remote kill switch. And I just
Oh,
inverted my
the
kill
the
switch.
power switch for the battery.
Yeah. I've got a 4-pole on there, which shuts the alternator off too,
Right,
so the car doesn't keep
right.
running. That's what you're supposed to have anyway.
Yep, that's what
But
I
anyway,
got
I
too.
just yep. So I inverted it, and then just made a little bracket and welded it to the car, and then ran my line my rod through, and then it was so long that I actually took it to Saxy Rod Shop over here and used their mill, and so actually we're able to cut it off, and they actually threaded it because it's a 1/4 by 20 threads for the handle, so that
Mm-hmm.
turned out real well. It's real close to the car. The car's been retuned, so it sounds great. Uh, I got out and hit a little bit on the street, and it's ready to rock and roll. So I ordered
Now,
carp.
did you with the air brake? Did you plumb in an air horn so that way when you go by the little old lady with the oxygen tank and she's going like this, you can hit the air
No,
horn on it?
no, there's two big air horns underneath the hood, and
Okay.
when it goes through there, you can tell what's sucking air in there. So,
Yeah.
um, but no, I mean it's the guy called me that's doing all the polishing. He's done with all the polishing, but I had to send him some. It's called YM3. Somebody may know what this is, but it's a felt that he likes. I've had a 4 foot of it on back order for a couple of weeks now, so he's getting that tomorrow. Once that's installed, then I'm gonna go pick all that stuff up and then start putting it back on the car. Put the windows back in it. I ordered carpet from Gina, so I've got that coming. And then it needs a little bit of upholstery work for the windlace when I took it out, so it's got a little bit of stuff there. And man, and
Right.
just get the windows tinted in it, and put the other front seat in it. It'll be ready to roll. So
Are you going to do
Nice.
the windlace yourself?
no, yeah,
That ain't bad.
I'm.
That's just a little. That's just a little stapler. You can do it.
Yeah, it's not
I
too
don't have.
bad.
I don't have
Joe
confidence in that.
Joe Miller wants to know if you've thrown the laundry yet, but I don't think you have because you haven't been to the track yet since you put the
Have
air brake
not, and
on.
I don't have the cable installed in it. All I've got right now is I've got the receiver mount. That's all welded in, and then I can actually pull the chute off. I mounted the chute this weekend. Actually, yeah, Sunday. I will tell you, I told Craig this earlier. I went and lifted weights Sunday, and I wore myself out, and I had to take the chute off because you have to put the backing plate in there and bolt it in,
Mm.
and you have to pack the chute. Oh my God, I I was so weak because I couldn't push. I could not push on that spring because that spring is I mean it was hard to
Right.
do that. I had to get behind it and do yoga and hold it with one hand and grip it and pull and knee, and I fought it twice, but anyway, I got it finally on there. Um,
Right.
so no, now I know why people don't like to use them as much because they are a pain in the rear to pack. So
Yeah.
um,
Sounds like David Bacon is offering to come down and pack it for you every time you race. He says David Bacon says it's easy, so kind of sounds like he
that
might
sounds
be
awful
offering to
bad,
come
calling
down.
packing bacon. I don't know what's up with that. That just kind of sounded wrong. He's ready to pack it from bacon.
Well,
I
he's
don't
ready to
know.
pack your chute for you, so you know.
Yeah. All right,
I
David.
talked. I talked with David earlier today, and he was showing me some things he'd finished on his car. His car is coming along nice, and it's looking like an old school build, looking nice. So I can't wait to see him get out on the road. I heard. I mean, he owns a Firebird too, but whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Our
it,
Firehawk.
it sounds like he might make it up to the John C. Fremont days, but it sounds like he'll come with his fire chicken instead of bringing the 55, just because I think he wants to drive the car rather than having to trailer it. Which is
Yep.
cool and all. I respect him for wanting to drive it. I would, if I could drive mine. You know, if I had some 373s or 355s in the rear, I'd probably drive mine. You know,
Yep.
drive it on the highway more. But 456s, I you know, a 20-minute drive at 45, 50 miles an hour. You know, normal a 65 mile an hour drive. You know, at 45, 50, that's going to take a little bit longer. So, you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
So-
check out the new Six Nails, Chris's car, the little Sunshine Turbo Mustang, Turbo Nova.
Yeah, I think
we-
I've seen you guys uploaded a new video on it here recently, didn't you?
Yeah, it sounds nasty. So it's sounds really good. So
Well, that's good.
yeah,
That's
and
good.
she's putting some power down. So
Sweet.
we're anxious to get it to the track. He'll be at the track before I will. Like I said, I've got no side windows in it, and so it'll blow the back glass out of my car. Can't race anyway unless you have the side glasses in also. So
True.
I'm hoping, hoping to get a couple of passes in before I go to the Nationals. But regardless, if the interior's in it, if it's not, I want to make it up there. So at least I'll be cruising around with
Right.
you guys.
Well,
Well, I'd
do
love
I get,
to make it
do I
if I
get to be in the
could,
pit
but-
crew?
Do what?
Do I get to be in the pit crew?
Well, I mean, do you look good in the skirt?
I just want. I'm going to be there with the camera. I'm going to be laying down in between the lanes, getting the right view. I want to be there.
Yeah. Just don't wear those shorts that somebody said that was you at the pellet grill. So don't be wearing those.
You can't see how low I went today.
So
Well,
yeah, but if you do
gentlemen,
that, I see like my pit crew, we're gonna have to have grills, some bling, some rings, and you'll be called Gold Digger. You know what I'm saying? You got to turn your head sideways and all that. Oh yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
straight brimming, boo. Straight brimming. I'll walk around with my Joey just for you. I will take my welding helmet and I will paint this Gold Digger colors. I'm gonna walk around the pit like this the whole day, just Gold Digger colors, like I'm ready to work.
Well, I guess considering the
I
hard
just
top's
might have-
always got to be worked on, so
Well, you know those jumpsuits that Elvis used to wear. I might just have
Yeah.
a gold and white one ready to go,
Gold and
Yeah.
yellow.
dude. What if when you get up race, I start like with like 10-foot flags, just start running the crowd, getting the crowd rolling, trying to get the wave going. You know?
yeah.
And I'll
I'm thinking you
start
could
throwing out fake,
I'm thinking you could do like the Hulkster thing,
right? But I'll get my wife running up there with all the fake gold coins thrown out in the crowd. They'll say Gold Digger on it. Hell yeah. We'll make a show of it. It'll be good.
Well, gentlemen, I think at this point, I think we're going to kind of call it a week on this episode. We're fast approaching an hour. We're at 58 minutes. So I do appreciate you guys coming and joining me this week and being here. I thank you for everything, taking the time out of your days and having the chat here.
And thanks to everybody that's commenting too and just watching.
Yeah.
Yep. We got to get
Yeah,
more
I really
people
do
on here
appreciate
watching.
it.
Hey, you know what? It
That'll
might be a good
be
thing to
fun.
have to get BDO on here to talk about ceramic coating it.
Yeah.
Get a little more details
I
to
think
that.
it would be nice. I think it would be nice if I could hold the computer so he can actually do a little display on how he does stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and watching the mob live in the mob this week. Everybody on YouTube, make sure to check the links in the description. We will have other videos links down there. Thanks everybody for watching and checking us out, and we will see you next week. We will be back live. We're going to have Chad Reynolds on Monday night, and then, like I says, in future episodes we will have we're looking to get Scott Sullivan, and we are looking to get somebody from Dennis Taylor Hot Rods. So thanks everybody. Have a good night, and we will talk to you later.
Have a good day.
Yep. Peace out.
Later.